Glam is one of the calmest characters in indie animation. He's elegant, controlled, composed, and somehow more intimidating than characters who are actively trying to kill people. But that control does not come naturally. It was taught, enforced, beaten into him. And the worst part, his father never really left, which is just fantastic. Some people inherit their dad's money. Glam inherited his dad's psychological damage. I inherited anxiety. We all have our struggles. But Glam shows signs of something called apophenia.
Apophenia.
And once you understand that, Glam stops looking calm and starts to look like he's in survival mode 24/7. Glam isn't emotionless. He's trained. Glam's father did not want a child. He wanted control. Every mistake was punished. Every action of disobedience was corrected violently. And over time, Glam learned something critical. Emotions make you vulnerable. If you cry, you lose. If you argue, you lose. If you resist, you lose. So he stopped doing all of it. Not because he didn't feel emotion, because showing it wasn't safe. That's why, as an adult, Glam feels almost artificial. Not robotic, but rehearsed. Like every action was being pre-approved. Glam doesn't react to situations. He submits a formal response. He probably says, "Thank you very much for your feedback," during arguments. But let's go back and talk about apophenia. We learned Dee's crush has apophenia, which is when your brain constantly looks for patterns and meanings. On its own, it's harmless. But in trauma survivors, it becomes a defense mechanism. Because when you grow up around someone unpredictable, you start studying everything. Tone, posture, silence. You learn to predict explosions before they happen. Glam has the same medication Dee's crush uses for apophenia, likely meaning he also has it. It makes sense. Glam's brain has never stopped doing this. He doesn't just see what's happening, he sees what might happen, which would explain why he's so hard to surprise. He's already considered the possibility. You know that feeling when your parents call you by your full name and your soul leaves your body? Glam lives in that moment permanently. Apophenia means Glam is always prepared. Glam sacrificed everything for Chive. His future, his stability, his relationship with his father. And Chive still left. And Glam's reaction? Absolutely nothing. No breakdown, no begging, no invisible sadness. Which seems cold until you realize he was prepared for it. Because when you grow up with conditional love, you learn it can disappear at any moment. So when it does, it hurts, but it doesn't surprise you. Meanwhile, I get attached to people who held the door open for me once. Glam loses the most important person in his life, and his response is like, "Yep, that aligns with the previous data." The most disturbing moment in the series isn't when Glam is calm. It's when he isn't. When Dee was playing the guitar incorrectly, Glam snapped. And suddenly he sounded exactly like his father. Same tone, same pressure, same cruelty. It's not just anger. It's imitation. For a moment, the man who hurt him came back through him. The worst part, Glam didn't seem to notice. The cruelty, the anger, the harshness. He never bats an eye. He did apologize, if you can even call it that. Instead of joining the dark side, Glam just rebooted like nothing happened. At least on the outside. Glam isn't afraid of others. He's afraid of his father. Glam's lack of visual sadness isn't because he doesn't feel. It's because he learned how to function without showing it. He still loves his family. He still cares deeply, but he expresses it through protection, through stability, through control. Because control is how he keeps everyone safe, including himself. But there's a point where control becomes blinding. Glam doesn't say, "I love you." He says, "I have ensured your continued survival," which is why he's so creepy to most. He isn't cold, he's traumatized. More specifically, Glam shows clear signs of complex trauma and the coping mechanisms that come with it. His emotional suppression, his constant need for control, his hyper-awareness of other people. His apophenia is his brain constantly scanning for patterns and threats. These aren't random personality quirks. They're survival adaptations. If you had to put a real psychological label on it, the closest match would be complex PTSD. Not the kind caused by one bad event. The kind caused by years living with someone unpredictable. Someone abusive. Someone he could never fully relax around. Complex PTSD doesn't always look like a panic attack. Sometimes it looks like Glam. Calm, controlled, unreadable. Because when you grow up in danger, you don't learn to express emotions safely. You learn how to contain them. And that's why Glam isn't broken. He isn't emotionless, he isn't cold. He's surviving, and he's very, very good at it. Glam didn't lose his emotions, he just learned how to hide them. But let's go back and talk about apophenia. We learned Dee's crutch, which explains why he's so hard to surprise. His hyper-awareness to others, his apophenia, complex PTSD. You don't learn how to express emotions